Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time.
None of that affects how you are going to change the world.
That's right.
No, it does not take one person to change the world, but it takes one person to believe in themselves.
Yes.
That they can make a difference.
I love
to
that.
Inspire others.
And that's why, for me, I try to make it my purpose now to try to help other people realize their self-worth, because it's so sad that so many of us, we get destroyed based off of what other people have to say.
Yeah.
I would say do it in your own way, make sure you're doing it on your own accord, and take a risk.
Go out there and live your life passionately. Believe in everything that you're doing and believe in the fact that you will accomplish every single goal. Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to be thankful, grateful, and blessed this season. I know a lot of us have a lot going on in our lives. We've experienced some challenges this year, some tragedies this year, some setback. However, it is still important that we are thankful for the life that we actually still do have. Be grateful for the blessings that we have in our life, the people that we have supporting us, and more importantly, that we are alive today to fight another day. I am your host, LaShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. Well, hello there, my friends, my family, my Unity community. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. As you can hear, LaShawn Walker is sounding a lot better than she was last week. The flu really did kick my behind. I'm not going to lie. It took me all of 2 and probably a half weeks for me to start feeling my best, but I am strongly getting there. I am just trying my best to make sure that I heal myself from the inside and out, and then I just continue on that journey as well. You know, I'm talking about what it is about being thankful and grateful and feeling blessed at this time. We all have experienced some challenges this past year, and I am definitely one of them. The things that I've hoped for, the things that I desired, not necessarily happened as I expected. I had a few people pass away. I had to deal with some just issues that I never thought that I would have to experience. But I remain thankful and grateful and feeling very blessed, regardless of everything that I experienced. I know that God has a plan for me, my friends. And so regardless of whatever I'm going through, I am standing resolute in the belief that the promises that he made will actually come to fruition. So I'm not going to stand stuck. I don't want you guys to do that either. I want you to be thankful and grateful and blessed this holiday season. We have Thanksgiving coming up in a day or two. And we're going to be around some family. We're going to be around some friends, probably some people we don't particularly care for, but we got to make the best of it anyway. And we're going to be just enjoying conversations and enjoying our loved ones. And I hope that in that time, you're feeling thankful that you're spending those moments with the people that you love. We're also going to be eating some bird and some dressings, from what I'm hearing, dressings, or I don't know what they call it, with the turkey and the cranberry sauce and the stuffing, all those things that I don't participate in because I don't cook, my friends, but I do like to enjoy it with my family and friends if anyone is actually hosting a Thanksgiving dinner. And in those moments, I take pride in the fact that I am still here, that I am still able to feel blessed with all of the gifts that God has given me. And also with whatever challenges or tribulations that I experience, that I still have an opportunity to just seek the greatness that he instilled in me, regardless, knowing that maybe it wasn't my time, or just reminding me that whatever I've gone through, he has given me the strength to get through. So I want you guys to be reminded of that today. At this time, we, more importantly, should be feeling the blessings of our life. And I know that deep down inside, you realize just how blessed you actually are. You realize that you should be grateful and thankful for every little thing you have. When I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful to see the sun. When I wake up in the morning, I thank God for another day, for possibilities and opportunities. When I wake up in the morning, I ask that I'm able to bless someone else in some capacity. And more importantly, I'm thankful for my mind and my body and my spirit and my family and my friends. So, regardless of what you may be going through, please wake up every morning with those sentiments. Just be grateful for what you actually still do have. So that's what we're going to be discussing today with an amazing woman that has been through quite a bit in her life, but she has been resilient. She has held strong to God's just promise to her. And more importantly, she is just empowered by every challenge that she's experienced in her life. It has made her such an amazing woman. And now she's able to share what she's learned through the path that she's been able to navigate with others, to also empower them and to show them what it's like to actually be thankful and grateful. So, the title of the show, my friends, is Thankful, Grateful, and Truly Blessed. And we're going to be speaking with the beautiful Miosotys Santiago. She is a survivor, advocate, and inspiration to many. Overcoming childhood trauma, domestic violence, and the life altering attacks on September 11th, she has transformed her pain into purpose. As the founder of Exemplify to Edify, established in 2019, Miosotys created a women's inspirational organization centered on healing empowerment and as a faith driven walk with purpose. She is an inspirational speaker, domestic violence advocate, and Amazon best-selling author of God's Diamond, as well as the self-published author of a children's gratitude journal and the women's self-reflection journal, 9 Fruits of the Spirit. With a mission to help others discover their inner resilience, Miosotys hosts vision board parties, empowerment workshops, and teen programs that use holistic methods to unlock hidden talents and promote self-love. Her monthly faith-based gatherings, Breaking Bread, are a testament to her belief in community and connection. A Voices Committee member of Safe Futures and the upcoming chair for the DEIB committee at Northeast Medical Group, Miosotys is deeply committed to advocacy and change. Recognized among CT's 100 Women of Color 2019 and featured in Essence Magazine's Ageless Beauty 2015, she is a wife, mother, grandmother, embodying a relentless passion for empowering others to turn pain into power. So please help me welcome the beautiful Miosotys Santiago. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, my friend. Welcome, welcome to the You're Our Unity show. We're going to call you Mio because I know that's what everyone calls you, right?
Yes, meal's fine. Perfect.
All right, perfect, perfect. Well, welcome, my friend. I think I mentioned last week with you guys that I met Mia Sotis about a month and a half ago. I was telling them last week how I went to the Maverick City concert, girl. It was for your birthday. She had an extra ticket. It was amazing. Oh my God, the spirit that filled us that day was awesome. It was everything that I needed, and I thank you so much. And I also thank you for being here this evening.
No, I thank you for inviting me, and I'm grateful that I was able to worship the Lord with you for the first time. Our date, we were
Yeah.
worshiping the Lord together. So, Amen.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much. So, as I mentioned, Thanksgiving is coming, girl. We got a day and a half. People are cooking, people are traveling. I heard it's like 8 million people flying in the friendly skies. Are you ready for Thanksgiving?
I'm ready.
You are?
I'm ready. I
Good.
already have everything prepped. You know, me and my husband, we went to the store today and started grabbing the last little minute things. And I'm excited. My daughters, they usually host at their houses, but they were like, Mommy, I want to come. We want to come to yours.
I
So
love
I'm hosting here at my house with my daughters and their husbands and my grandchildren. some of his family's coming, his brother, and we're just gonna keep it very intimate and very like private.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I think God is just moving me in a season where I really need to protect my family, our space, our privacy, and
Yeah.
just some things don't need to be shared on social media. It
Yes.
feels very different when we're embracing the moment without technology, without the phones and snapping
Yeah.
selfies. So I'm trying to veer everyone off into that direction so we can embrace each other more.
That's right. Be present with one another. I love that. I love that. And that's exactly what we all should be doing, especially after the year that some of us may have had. We have to all decide to protect our peace and also prepare for the new season ahead. So I mentioned in your bio that you have been through some things in your life, my friend, but yet you stand strong in your gratefulness and thankfulness and the fact that you are a blessed soul in the just kingdom of God. So if you don't mind sharing with us a little bit about your past and how you became this resilient, powerful woman that you are today.
So to share a little bit about my past, I am the oldest of four from Dominican parents. They migrated here from the Dominican Republic as teenagers. They met as young adults, got married, and they had four children.
Oh,
And at 2 or 3 years old, when my younger sister was born, that's when life began for me.
mm,
I was the oldest of her, and my mother and my father, they found themselves in a rough patch in their marriage. So I decided to always become her mother when my mom and my dad was figuring things out. And then there came another sister, and then another brother, a brother. So by the time I was around 7, I'm the oldest of four now. So I was
wow.
like a second mother to them.
Wow.
Um, and that's where that nurturing spirit just started infusing itself in me. I've been a
Mm,
nurturer my whole life. Um, Life really happened for me at the age of 13.
mm,
At 13, being the oldest of four, I thought
mhm.
I was responsible enough to have a boyfriend, and I started seeing an older man behind my mother's back, and
Wow.
one thing led to the next. I found an opportunity where I was home alone. I invited him over, and I ended up getting sexually assaulted, and
Mm,
that put me in a very dark place. And I, at 13, I really was fearful that my parents would just be so disappointed with me. I couldn't face that. So one night I decided to take my life, and I went into the medicine cabinet and took every medication that was in the medicine cabinet. And I laid down. And from what I was told, when my siblings woke up in the morning, I was already foaming out the mouth. I was life starred to the hospital in a coma, basically. And um,
wow.
all that
Mm,
before 14.
wow. That is
Yeah.
amazing. I can't even imagine. You were ready at that age to say goodbye to your siblings. You understand what you were doing, what it was going to do to you, right? Like how it was going to end. And you was comfortable with that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wrote letters to my siblings. I wrote letters to my mom and dad apologizing for what I did.
Mm,
Um, because I've always, for some reason, I think is a gift that God gave me. I hold my own self accountable for
mm,
everything.
okay.
So I held myself accountable a little too much, and
Yeah.
I was just very disgraced with myself. So that's what I decided to do. But I
Oh,
can tell you that that's the moment that I experienced Jesus was when I passed away 3 times. I was brought back with the defibrillator. I went
wow.
to another place. I remember the light. I remember the feeling, the peacefulness, floating, and I just heard this voice from everywhere. I just heard it say, "It is not your time."
It's not your time. Yep.
And I'm telling the voice, I don't want to go back. At 13 years old, I didn't want to go back there. It was
Yeah.
just toxic and chaos.
Yeah.
And I just kept telling the voice, I don't want to go back. So I
Mm,
just, a moment, one to the next, I just found myself falling, falling. And I just felt my body just jerk up. and that's when they hit me with the defibrillator, brought me back, and that's where literally I was from 13. I've been seeking that voice ever since,
Yes, yes,
because I
yes.
know that God was with me,
He had a calling
and
on your
and
life,
that's
my
what I
friend.
do.
Yeah, he definitely had a calling on your life, and he wasn't prepared for you, in heaven, and he just wanted you to finish the work that you had here. So where did that take you after that point, and realizing that you had a job to do? You know what I mean? There's so many that have attempted the same thing that you did and are not here to tell their story. So tell me what changed in you after that incident, and how did you grow from that experience?
I mean, from that I grew. I was still a child, but I was always, like I said, searching for that voice, and
Mm,
I knew that there was somebody else there that loved me, that saved me, and I made a promise. Even at 13, I made a promise. You saved me. Whatever you want me to do, I'm gonna do. And
yeah,
literally, that's what I've been doing. I've surrendered at 13, and I've just been doing what he wants me to do, serving people, loving people, being the light in the life of others, and using
yes,
my experience for that.
yeah.
After that experience, I was sent to Miami
Hmm.
in the 80s at 14 years old. You know what was
Yeah.
going on back then.
Oh
There was
yeah.
Two Live Crew everywhere and all
Yes,
that
the
music.
mix and everything, girl. At 14, looking
Yeah,
as beautiful as you are.
14.
Good.
So by the time I was 16, I met my daughter's father, and I was pregnant at 16.
Wow. Wow.
And my daughter, my oldest daughter, came, and she's basically who changed my life. I just was, this little being was just mine, and I
Mm,
just always, that was it. I was, my whole life goal now was to protect this little being that was mine, who loved me unconditionally, and I didn't have to give her up to anyone. She was mine, and that's
right,
where my life began, there
right.
at 16.
Wow. And you already knew how to be a caregiver,
Yeah,
basically taking care of your siblings for all of those years. So I know that must have felt like a very special moment. Oh my God. So tell me, how was it raising this young baby at such a young age? Because you're a baby yourself, you know?
I was a baby myself, but I was very mature in other ways, in other areas. So I was able to know how to take care of her. I still needed my mother's guidance.
Hmm.
Um, I can tell you at 16 years old, I was pregnant, and I ended up moving in with my daughter's father. I left home. So we lived together. And it was just a learning experience, getting to know her, my baby, realizing that I'm in high school. He's graduating and I'm not.
Wow.
Life stopped for me, but it didn't for him. So it was just adjusting to that. I had goals and dreams to go to college. I wanted to be a singer. Um, and all of that just stopped. My first
Yeah.
priority was my daughter.
Yeah.
And life continued happening after that. By the time I was 19 years old, I'm now dealing with a situation where my mother, she was used as a mule, and sent to Colombia and placed on a plane back to Miami with drugs. And my mother ended up getting arrested and
Wow.
serving 10 years, almost 10 years in prison. So at 19 years old now, I'm with my second child, two kids, three younger siblings. I had to separate everyone.
Mm.
Everyone got separated. And now I'm visiting my mother in a federal penitentiary. So
Oh my goodness gracious, girl. How did you even find the strength at that time to handle all of that weight? Because I can understand it now. You're a grown woman. You get a deeper connection and sort of rooted in the word of God. But how at that time did you find the strength to handle all of that?
to be honest with you, I can only say God, because I didn't have mentors. I didn't have older, like, aunts around that would,
Mm.
encourage me, talk to me. My friends, they were graduating school and doing their own thing. I literally I built my relationship with God from a very early age, and I learned to just go to Him for everything. So I've
Yes.
always just went straight to Him, and it
Yes.
was just Him that gave me the strength to just get through everything. It was a lot, you know.
Yeah.
It was a
How did
lot.
How did you feel? Because again, we're talking about being thankful and grateful. Did you see the blessings in a lot of the stuff that you were going through, regardless of how challenging it actually was? Did you still see, like, I'm still here, and at least my siblings have a roof over their head? Did you even realize those small little blessings at that time?
At that time, I didn't realize the blessings. I was more focused on the hurt. I was
Mm,
more focused on the struggle,
yeah,
on this having to separate myself from my siblings,
yeah,
going through it with my daughter's father. So there was a point in my life where I didn't really focus on the blessings in my life. I focused on the problems. But then I started looking around, and I realized that no matter what I was going through, I had friends that were going through worse than
yeah,
me. My
yeah.
One of my best friends, her mother died of cancer. Um, you know, uh, one of our friends, his name was Nelson. He ended up being murdered
Oh my,
in Miami.
oh
So
my,
I just started noticing, even though that happened to my mother, I was blessed to see her every weekend. We were safe. The kids were safe.
right.
Um, just to see her smile was a blessing for me, because she's never been in any type of trouble. She was a single mom raising three children, and she was, taken advantage of, and her life changed forever. But, seeing that smile come back, even though she was incarcerated, it did something for me.
Yeah.
So it gave me hope that this isn't going to be forever, and this is just temporary.
Yes, I love that. I love that. So you basically essentially did the bid with your mom now, right? You're a
Yeah.
young woman with not only your own children, but you're also still responsible for your siblings. Were you still with your daughter's father at this time, or
I was
okay?
with my daughter's father at the time, yeah.
Okay.
My
All right.
siblings actually were sent to family members' houses. So I was just more in contact with them, making sure that we connected. But they
Okay.
were separated in different homes during that time. So we all had to grow up quick. We all had to grow up early. We
Yeah.
all experienced our own lives and our own experiences, because we were in separate places. But
Yeah.
we've always vowed to each other to always make sure that we connect with each other, we stay in touch, we love each other. So even
Yeah.
till this day, not we can't even go a day or two without sending a text. Good morning. How
Love
are you? We're very involved.
it.
We love each other. We embrace each other. We encourage each other. We have a strong relationship because of
I will
everything that
say
happened.
that, I'm sitting here talking to you about how strong you needed to be because of the responsibility, but they also needed to be very strong as well because they needed guidance. They were the youngest, so they needed the direction and the guidance, and also to believe that there was somebody there for them that was going to support them. So I know that they had to remain strong and absolute in that strength as well as they're going through the same thing that you were going through. And that is a riveting story. It really, really is. So when did you move back? Because I read here that you were also part of the 9/11
So
attacks. Like,
yes.
tell us a little about when you ended up back in New York.
So I ended up leaving my daughter's father with two girls and went back to New York. And a few years into living into New York, I went to visit my aunt one day at
Hmm.
the World Trade Center. And you had to stop at the visitor's desk and get a badge. She worked for Aon. And I was just approached by a supervisor, and he asked me, "Are you interested in working?" And I
Oh, wow.
just had my daughter; she was a few months, so I
Right.
said, "Sure." So he gave me the application. I filled it out. I brought it back. He gave me an interview, and he hired me.
Wow.
And yeah, it just happened just like that. And then now I was unemployed
Were
for
you looking
Unique
for a job at
Securities.
that point? But were you looking for a job at that point? You were unemployed when he offered you this job?
Yes,
Wow.
I was with my baby, with the baby at the time, and I was at home.
Okay.
Hmm.
Wow. Go ahead. So you started working.
So I started working at the World Trade Center, and there was this 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 gentleman that used to come down. He worked for Marsh and McLennan, and he used to go to his desk, and his friend Susan, she was my coworker. He kept trying to ask her to tell me he wanted to take me on a date, but I was with my daughter's father, so I
Oh,
kept refusing.
right.
And after 3 months, I said, you know what, let me just go on a date, with this guy. And it wasn't like any type of attraction at the time. It was friendship. I
Right.
was dealing with domestic violence with my daughter's father
Mm,
for 5 years, and
wow.
it was a hard time for me in my life. Um, I hid it from my family.
Mm.
I was placed in the hospital several times,
Oh my God.
and I was in a very dark place. So I think this gentleman just came. He seen the pain in me, and we just were friends. We started hanging out in the plaza. We used to go out to have lunch. He would go back upstairs,
Mhm.
and he would just tell me, you're so beautiful. You don't deserve to be treated like this. And he just really spoke life into me,
Mm.
and that's why I believe that God, He's just so intentional, and the divine connections. His timing is like perfect.
Yes.
Because when I was in my most darkest places, here comes a gentleman who just spoke life into me, and it
Yeah.
gave me the strength to literally go home one day and tell my daughter's father that he needs to leave. I would
Right.
have never did something like that. I was terrified of him.
Mm. Wow, that is amazing. So you was done. Honestly, you just needed somebody to share with you and to tell you that you was worth so much more. And he
Yes,
gave you the courage to do that. That is
yes,
awesome. So I understand you guys kind of fell in love for somebody that you weren't initially attracted to, and you telling me that you
yeah, yes, yeah. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you the story, and this is how it happened. That's why I tell women sometimes they're always looking for men. They're looking on what's on the outside. Forget about the outside. You need to see what's on the inside.
Yes.
So when he came out of the elevator one day at the World Trade Center, it was the windows were so tall. It was beautiful out, and there was like a huge beam of sun just beaming down at the visitors at the lobby, right? And I was just checking somebody in, and when I turned around and the elevator doors opened, people started coming out. And when I seen him come out, he stepped into the light, and I swore I seen like glitter all around him.
Oh
I
my
just seen,
God. That was the day you fell in love.
yeah, I just seen
Oh,
something different.
oh,
So
that's amazing.
that's how that relationship came about, and it
Mm,
was a beautiful relationship. We ate at the plaza, we worked out at the Marriott Hotel, we
wow.
went to work together every morning. It was we had I had my three daughters, he had a daughter. Our four daughters together, they looked like sisters. They just instantly meshed. It was a beautiful family unit. We would take the girls out every weekend. It was a beautiful experience. And
Mm,
then on the morning of 9/11, he went to work, and I stayed behind. I was on my way to work, and my oldest daughter called me and told me to get off the bus because the
mhm,
baby was acting up. She had to
right.
take her to daycare. So she said she didn't want to take her this morning. I said, I'm going to be late. She said, Mommy, I don't want to deal with this today. So I got off the bus on Parsons, took it back. I lived in Jamaica at the time.
Right.
Made sure all my daughters went to school, took the bus to Parsons, the E train, the Chambers Street. And as I'm walking through the plaza, I open up my phone to call him to let him know that I'm running late to come downstairs so we could have breakfast. And
Mhm.
that's when I heard the first plane and it hit the building. And
Wow.
it
Oh
happened just
my God.
like
So
that.
you was really literally in the midst of the attack as it was happening. Oh my
Yes.
God. Oh my
I
God.
was
So
walking into One World Trade. I ended up running into World One Trade, and there's people like just confused. You know, we didn't know what was going on. You just see all these objects falling from the sky. And me working security. I knew he was upstairs, so I went running. I was going to take the escalator down to
right.
where we worked to
Right.
find out where he was at. And a police officer grabbed me, and she says, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I have to go find my husband. He's here, my fiance, and he's upstairs." And she said, "You're not going anywhere. You're going with me." So we
Wow.
both. She grabbed me by my arm, and we both just ran across the plaza. Someone snapped a picture of us running through the plaza, and it
Mm,
came out on the Newsweek magazine the following day. But she
right.
handed me over to someone, on Broadway. We ran, and that's where I stayed the entire time.
The entire
It
day
was
while all of this was going on, you stayed there just waiting for some type of communication with him, to the hope that he was going to come out of that building. Oh my God, Mio. Oh my God. So how did you get through that day? Tell me what ended up happening.
So what ended up happening, as everybody knows, Two World Trade collapsed. That was on Broadway. I went running down the street. A gentleman grabbed me. We're running down the street. We got hit with all that ash and all that debris. And after getting out of that, I went down. I believe it was it was Canal Street, and then I was just running. And when I turned around, One World Trade was still standing. I'm trying
Right,
to make this as short as possible. It was more than that, but I know
right,
where we have timing. But if you see the book, it's all in the book. Um,
right.
but I when I turned around, One World Trade was still standing, and people is just walking by, looking, like in shock. And that's when, finally you just see the tip of One World Trade tilt, and then One World Trade collapsed.
Oh my
So
God.
from there, I ran. I ran the 38th in Madison, where my sister works. She was an executive um, legal assistant for a
Mm-hmm.
law firm in Midtown, 38th and Madison. I
Mm-hmm.
ran all the way to 38th and Madison. When I arrived, her coworkers, they told me that she ran out looking for me. So they grabbed me in the bathroom, and they're trying to clean me up from all the ash and everything. And I
Wow.
waited for my sister. They turned her around, so she
Right,
didn't know where I was.
right.
So she finally came back and seen me at the office, and we made our walk down to 101st and Park, to my
Oh,
little sister's house. And then all of us and the kid, and my sister just had two children, and
mm,
we ended up walking across, go through Manhattan across the bridge.
yeah. Wow. So your fiance, what ended up happening with him real quick?
Well, I can tell you, I went home that night, and I woke up the next day, and he wasn't there. So I was attached to the television, and now they're saying if you feel you've lost anyone, grab pictures, grab anything you can grab to identify him. So I started grabbing his pictures, and I didn't even take a shower yet. I didn't even take a
Wow,
shower.
I
I
know.
went from Queens. I jumped back on the train back to the World Trade Center. It was still on fire, fumes, my mountain, and there was already lines piling up of lines of people. Going to the hospitals to see if our family members were on a list,
Yeah.
and it was just weeks and weeks and months
Mm,
of doing that. And I started to feel a little discouraged, and going back to the apartment that we lived in, it was very heartbreaking for me. So
yeah.
I made the decision. My mother lived in Rhode Island, and she was like, just pack up the kids and come here. So I literally left my entire apartment, furnished everything, just
Wow.
packed me and my kids and suitcases and whatever it meant most to us. And I ended up coming to Rhode Island, and I left New York.
I'm so sorry for all that you have gone through, my friend, but oh my God, that just takes a lot of strength to even wake up to every single morning. And the fact that, you know, there was no information on where he was, this person that just had been blessing you with his love for the past year or so that you guys were together. It's just, I could imagine how imaginable, how painful that actually was. When did you start on this journey? Because now you have in a business called Exemplify to Edify. You are helping young women to just find their power, for them to get through whatever challenges. You're just trying to empower our young women. How did that come about, and where did you feel God the most in all of that trauma that you experienced?
It started, I really didn't mention too much about me being a 9/11 survivor, because as soon as they mentioned it, I was like this famous celebrity, and I'm very humble. And
Yeah.
so I never really talked about it too much. I worked with people, never told them, and as soon as they found out, they were like, "Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, "I just wanted you to know me for me. You
For you.
know, I'm more than a survivor of 9/11."
Yeah.
Um, but someone heard my story, invited me to speak at one of her conferences, and when I finished my first time ever speaking and telling my story, and when I looked up, the whole room was just quiet. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I said something offensive. I'm very raw and transparent. I
Right.
like to bring you into my story
Yes.
when I tell us it's my story. And the whole room was just quiet. So I thought that I did something wrong. And actually, everyone just started crying. And next thing you know, everyone was asking me to speak at their events, and I'm now receiving awards. And that's when I really realized that my story is really, I was so used to having a story that
Mm-hmm.
that was just something else added on to my book.
Yeah.
But experiencing how powerful that testimony really is, it started bringing out all the past trauma and all of that, and that started my healing process, just
Right.
embracing it all and talking about it and healing while I tell the story. And seeing the reaction of the women crying and saying, I needed to hear that. I really, and I'm like, you know what? Now I understand when they say that our testimony is important.
Yep.
We must testify of the goodness of the glory of God.
Yep.
And I fell in love with when I truly understood what it means to testify about His goodness.
Yes.
That's all that I wanted to do.
Oh my God. And you are absolutely right, my friend. In addition to every story matters, everyone that's gone through something, someone else is able to resonate with it. Someone else is able to identify with it. In addition to getting through it because of the fact that they see that you've done the same. So I love that. How did Exemplify to Edify come about then? And where did you even come up with the title of your organization?
So actually, the title was given to me by my son-in-law, my oldest daughter's husband. He gave it to me.
Oh,
Just
nice.
one day, just one day, he was like, "Ma, what do you think about this for your business name?" And I'm like, "Simplify to Edify." I said, "I love it. I really like it." So he
Yeah.
still doesn't really understand the magnitude of how he played his part in
Mm,
my life, because he's the one who gave me my business name.
yes.
So I always, I always remind him, you gave me my name. So he was a man of God. Um, he was graduating to be a theologist, to be a
Uh-huh.
pastor when my daughter met him, and he was in the Word, and I guess God spoke to his spirit and gave him that, and he
I
gave it to me.
love it. I love it. Well, tell us, what is Exemplify to Edify then? What do you actually do, and how do you help others with your organization?
Well, exemplify to exemplify is, to you have, and to edify is to be an example. Is to be an example, to be a model of edification.
Hmm.
So everything that I do, as for women especially, is to be I encourage women to be models of edification, the way that God wants us to edify people, to
Yes.
edify women, our neighbors, even our enemies. It's
Hmm.
about removing yourself from your flesh for a moment and living your life with the 9 fruits of the spirit. That's why I developed the journal.
Yep.
Um, it's about encouraging that woman who needs some form of hope and inspiration because she doesn't have the strength that you have. It's
Yeah.
about reaching that teen girl who didn't grow up with daddy in the home like me, and she's looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
It's about that teenage girl that's pregnant right now, and she doesn't know what to do, and mommy and daddy's upset, and she's in a relationship she really didn't want to be in, but she still has to find time to love herself. It's about all of that. Every experience that I experienced, I incorporated into my organization, and I feel we all have somewhat of some relatable story, especially as women.
Yep.
Statistically wise, you know, out of 5 women, at least 3 have been molested. I'm a product of molestation myself,
Yes. Yes.
and a lot of women like me you could say 3 out of 5 we were raised without a father.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's abandonment issues there. There's living without a father, looking for love in all the wrong places, validation. There's so many things that I see right now that our children are going through even worse now,
Yes.
that
Yes.
we really need to bring it back. We owe it to this generation
Yes, we
to,
do.
to show them and teach them and
Yep.
encourage them.
Yes. Yeah. You're absolutely right. You are so, so right. And who best to share that journey of what you experience, but how to navigate it and get through it, but you with exemplify to edify. So I love your story. I'm so sorry for the things that you've had to go through, but I'm telling you what stands before us is an empowered, beautiful young woman who I know has so much to share with, so not just the youth, but grown women out there that are still going through these things, who haven't learned from the mistakes that they've made, don't have the support system that you have in your life and the strength of God that you also have in you. So it seems that faith seems to be a conversation of your life, because you've spoken about God and how you've been chasing that voice for so many years. Um, Tell me, how has your relationship with God helped you stay grounded and hopeful through your journey?
My relationship with God is literally he's my everything. I'm being in the Word and knowing that, first and foremost, I tell all women, everyone asks me, how do you I have a 35-year-old, I'm 52, and how do you stay looking so young, and how did you not let yourself go? And I always tell, like, my daughters, at the end of the day, the at the end of the day, as soon as my feet hit the ground, I give God thanks for waking
Yeah,
me up this morning. Number one, He
yeah,
gets my number one, and number two, I get myself out of bed a little bit earlier than my husband because I want to make sure that I take care of me first,
hmm, yeah, yeah,
mind, body, and spirit, so I
yeah.
can be there and I'll be able to pour into my husband and pour into my children and pour into my grandchildren. So I
Hmm.
tell, and there's, as mothers, we're nurtured. We feel that tug that we have to do everything for our children. Our children come first.
Yep.
They do come first. But for that split moment, put that time aside and make sure that you are good. Because if you're not good mentally, your children are not good mentally.
That's
If you're
right.
not good spiritually, your kids are not good spiritually.
Yep.
If you're not grounded, then you're their role model. So I always tried to make sure that I was a good role model. And even through the weak times, I'm crying in the shower and I'm like, why God, why me? Why me? But I never let them see me crying. Um, but I always tell them till now, and even I tell women, it when you truly feel the love of Christ, it's a love that's undescribable.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
tell my husband all the time, I love you, but I don't love you nowhere near as I love Jesus.
I know that's right.
Because what he's done for me, how he set me free, how
Yeah.
he's healed me, how he's
Yes.
restored me. There's
Yeah.
nothing, no, any man or anything on this earth can do for what he's done for me already.
Yep.
And
Yep.
how he's stepped in and intervened. There's been one near death experience after the next. And I'm like, all right, Lord, okay, you saved me again. What else you want me to do? I
Yep.
asked him to put me in the battlefield. I don't want to be in the pew. I don't want to be in the building. Put
Mm,
me out into the street. I
that's right.
asked him for that.
That's right.
And
Because
I put this tattoo on my head during the pandemic. When I seen all that loss and death, my daughter's father actually died from COVID. My oldest two father.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, he died from COVID. And, they went through it. But there's something just clicked in me on how life is so short and the enemy just came and he's just running amok on this earth with, diseases, cancer, illnesses, rage, anger,
Yeah.
all these different emotions that humans are experiencing today. I said, you know what, God? Right there, I realized we are living in the last days. I said, I want to be a warrior in your army, Lord. I just want to be. And I went ahead and put this tattoo on my head here, and this is This is my little battle badge for
Yes,
for the for the battle of the kingdom of God.
I
I'm
love
one
that.
of his warriors, and I'm gonna give the enemy a run for his money because he's
That's
been
right.
affecting my life. He's been trying to take my life. He's been
Hmm.
trying to touch my family's life,
Yep.
and I have Jesus behind me and a whole army. So
Yep.
I talk to even the enemy all the time. You want to bring it? Bring it.
I got the breastplate of God on me, my friend. I know that's
Yes.
right. I know that's right. And that's exactly how I feel. Like I feel at this point you are untouchable. You have been through the depths of hell and back, my friend. And each time you come back swinging harder than you were before. And you're doing it with so much, I feel effortless, honestly. I think it's because you know whose you are and what you've been through and how you've come out of it on the other side, really, truly unscathed. And you are able to tell your story and share what you've gone through with others so that you can help edify them. And I think that is amazing. Well, I understand your mission statement is your pain becomes your purpose. And that's incredibly powerful, my friend. What advice would you give to someone struggling to find meaning in their hardships?
Just hold on and trust the process.
Mm,
Don't give up. You
mhm.
know, everything that happens to us in our life is a test of our faith, a test of our endurance, a test of our resilience. You know, God, I believe He's trying to build us up and make us stronger in Him. But how can He do that if He doesn't put us through things? We have
Yeah.
to be tested in this area and that area and this area and this area. We got to be tested in all areas. And in order to survive what's going on in the world and the attacks of the enemy, we
Mhm.
have to be, we got to be grounded not in Him, but we have to be strong. When you put that armor of God on, you got to put it on. You got to cover your head, cover
Yep.
your chest, cover
Yep.
your back. You have to wear it.
Yes.
You have to take it and put it on, put the armor of God on,
Yes.
and you will find the strength that you've never thought you had. And guess what? If you're going through something serious, that means He got a big testimony for you.
Yes.
Just
Yep.
hold on.
Yep.
Go push through the storm. Just
Yes.
don't give up because your testimony is going to be amazing. It's going to be powerful. And it's just not for you. Your
Yeah.
testimony is for others. So you
Yeah.
can go help others and inspire others and edify others and pour into others because He
Yes.
calls us at the end of the day to serve others, to serve His broken people, to
Yep.
serve the lost, to go out and make disciples. Look where people are dying left and right. You know, there's a fire within me and an urgency to just, remind people we are living in some dire times, and we're this is an urgent matter at
Yeah.
this point.
Yep.
This is urgent.
Yep. Yep.
And I try to encourage pouring into our youth. They are going through it too. My grandchildren are going through it too. The enemy is just going rampant on earth using social media, using technology, relationships, marriages, luck.
Yep.
The spirit right now is the spirit of Jezebel's all over the place.
Yep. That's right. That's right. That's right. And generational curses that just keep repeating themselves. You know what I mean? That we have to get out of that as well. So I'm
Correct.
so glad that you are a warrior, a true warrior in the fight. And you know that you are not just there to protect yourself, but others. And that's so important for us all to hear right now, that what we go through is supposed to be able to help others, to serve others, to support each other, and also to bring us up out of the mire, which it sounds like you're doing with your organization. That is truly, truly amazing. Well, as the founder of Exemplify to Edify, how do you inspire and empower women to embrace gratitude and discover their purpose even in the face of fear and rejection? Because again, you mentioned a whole lot of issues that young ladies are going through. How do you get them past that with what you're teaching?
So what I do, everything that I do is in a holistic way, focusing on the mind, body, and spirit.
Mm,
And what I try to encourage them, how to get them to that point of gratitude is that at the end of the day, you've been through all that, but you made it.
Yes.
You know, you went through all that pain, but you're still here. You
Yes.
know, I'm grateful that I went through all of that because it made me the woman who I am today.
Yeah.
And I tell them not to focus too much on the past. You know, I mention my past when I'm telling my story because that's my past. But the
Right.
past is the past. I'm healed and restored. So I
Yep.
try to make sure I let them know not to focus too much on the past. Focus on today
Right.
because the past is the past, and now you're holding on to it, and it's a stronghold. It's a
Yep.
stronghold,
Yep.
and you can't hold on to your past and move forward. So you
Mm.
literally have to let that go and allow God in and just heal you from the inside out and just break that chain. You know, we all have plenty of chains in our past. But
Yep.
you allow God to step in there, Jesus to step in there, he starts chipping at them chains. Next thing you know, he was walking heavy. All of a sudden, now you got a little move to you. Next thing you know, you start
Little,
running.
oh, yep. Little pep in your step. You ain't never lied.
And yes, and you feel the freedom, like you feel the freedom walking with him.
Mm.
All of that, he removes all of that. It doesn't even matter anymore, you
I love
know,
that.
when you feeling that freedom. So I just remind them to just be grateful for what they went through and how they made it through. Pat yourself on the back. Stop
Yeah.
being your worst enemy. You know,
Yeah.
stop with the I shoulda, coulda, wouldas. I did that too. That didn't do anything for me. I'm
Yeah.
proud that I withstood domestic violence and I didn't end up hurting myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm proud that I went through all that pain and I didn't and he tried to take my own life and I didn't try it again. I'm proud of being a single mom and I pushed through working 3 jobs, raising 3 girls after 9. I bought my first house at 29. I'm
Wow.
proud of everything that I experienced. You know, and even when I see women my age, they got PhDs, the whole 9 yards. That's because their lives was, you know, they made better decisions than me, most likely, or they were placed in a better situation than me. I don't hate on them. I
Yeah.
don't dislike them. I pour into them. You know, I affirm them.
Yeah.
Great job. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you. I
Yeah.
love women. I love encouraging women, no matter what you accomplished or what you didn't. Degrees and all that doesn't mean anything.
That's
You
right.
going through what you went through in your life, that is the thing right there. There are
That's
some stories out there that a woman's gone through that I couldn't have gone through.
exactly. Everybody has their own story, their own fight, their own gift, their own reward. Everything is for each other. It's not for you to have to live. So I love that you say that, my friend. Well, we're winding down in time. I could talk to you for another hour, but I'm going to ask you the last question and then I want to share with the audience your book and your journals that you have available. As someone who has turned pain into triumph, how do you maintain a balance between acknowledging your past struggles and celebrating the blessings that are current and present?
So I definitely acknowledge those past troubles and I dig deep into those experiences to try to see and pull out what goodness came out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And those goodnesses is what I take and I compile them all up in what I want to present as far as my business. So I don't focus too much on the bad. I look at the good in it. I look at the lesson in it. What did I learn from it? How did I grow from it? And I
Right.
take all of that information and I put it all together and I'm like, boom, this is what's gonna come out of your perseverance, your resilience, your obedience,
Yes.
your self-control. You know, you're continuing to self-develop, pouring into yourself. Um, all of that when you turn it around and you just apply God's word on it, and at the end of the day, you know God will never fail you. His promises are true, and whatever is meant for you is for you. When you truly just focus on Him and still take all those experiences and just build on it. I
Mm-hmm.
embrace my flaws. I embrace my mistakes. I make fun of them sometimes. I laugh to myself sometimes. I embrace my mistakes and I'm okay with them because we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
That's right.
Nobody is perfect. So I just encourage everyone to embrace where you are right now. It's not forever. Keep pouring into yourself, keep self-development, stay in the word, build your relationship with God first and foremost, with Christ, and not of the world. I've been unconforming from the ways of the world. I've slowly started, the discernment has just popped up even more now, where I can see the enemy working a mile away. So I encourage everyone right now to start praying for discernment,
Yes.
some real discernment, because
Yeah.
the enemy is so tricky. He
Yes.
comes like a thief in the night, like a snake in your grass, and you don't even know he's in there.
Yep. You
Because
absolutely.
we're so focused on working and this and that and social media and here and that and there. He
Yep.
crawled right into your grass and you didn't even know.
You're right about that. She said it, folks. We need to work on our relationship with God and discernment. And I so appreciate that. Oh my God, Mio, thank you so much for being here. You have just been an inspiration in your story, and as well as, I hope, knowledge and fruit from people who are listening to be able to chomp on and realize that they too can make it through whatever they've gone through. They have a beautiful young woman like you who has gone through so much, but is still here not only to tell the story and share the story, but to show the strength and resilience in all that you've experienced. So I love you for that. So I want to throw up real quick, because we know that you're an author. So I want you to share real quick with us about your book and your journal. So tell us about the book.
So the book is my memoir. It's 8 chapters consisting of certain experiences in my life that I wanted to share to
Okay.
hopefully inspire and, you know, pour into a woman that's dealing with that experience at the moment, or teen girls. And
Right.
I also developed the 9 fruits of the spirit gratitude journal. It's
Mm-hmm.
something that I really focused on myself, is focusing on those 9 fruits of the spirit, learning how to control your flesh, um, showing more love and kindness and goodness, and enjoying peace and joy. Those spirits that get affected the most with the ways of the world, right? That's
Right.
what the enemy uses to try to tear us down. So he
Yeah.
wants us to lose control. He
Yep.
wants us to hate.
Yep. You're right.
The opposite of this 9 fruits of the spirit, that's what the enemy is encouraging people to do right now. So
Love
I'm
it.
trying to remind everyone to just bring it back
I
and
love it.
focus on the 9 fruits of the spirit. And I have a children's gratitude journal. It is holistic. It's from kindergarten all the way up to middle school. It talks about being a good Samaritan. It talks about loving your neighbor. It's about taking care of earth and taking care of your grandparents and honor your mother and your father. So
Well,
those little commandments.
exactly. Well, we're going to put up your information where you guys can reach out to Miosotys, as well as receive a copy of her book, God's Diamond, as well as her journals. I think that they will be beneficial in everyone's life. Thank you so much. So I'm going to
Thank
get real
you.
quick to the Dare to Be You. And it is: dare to be thankful. Recognize the beauty in your journey, even in the challenges. Dare to be grateful. Embrace the blessings you have and the lessons you've learned. Dare to be blessed. Walk in the knowledge that you are loved, worthy, and capable of rising above any storm. And when you dare to live with a heart full of gratitude, you unlock the power to transform pain into purpose and hope into action. And that is exactly what the beautiful Mio has shared with us today. I thank you so much for being here, for being
Thank you.
transparent, for sharing with us how we all have the ability to use our pain for purpose. I want you to come back another day. We got more to talk about, my beautiful friend. But
I
thank you so
will.
much again for being here. You have been a true blessing for this
Thank
Thanksgiving season.
you.
I want to thank you, the audience, for tuning in to another episode of Your Our Unity. Please remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. So let's go out there and be some love, share some love, and just give some love. We will see you next week on Your Our Unity. In the meantime, please remember that I love you. Happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you soon. Say good night, Mio. I love
Good
you.
night, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.